comment?
I'd like to call to order the Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Wednesday, July 3rd at 7:02 PM. The first agenda item is for PELU LLC and the notice was filed in the town hall and also it was in the Worcester Telegram and Gazette, and it read as follows. The Town of Douglas Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing at 7 PM on Wednesday, July 3rd, 2019 in the Douglas Municipal Center, Community Meeting Room, 29 Depot Street, Douglas, Mass. To hear the following application. PELU Incorporated has filed for a special permit pursuant to MGL Chapter 40A, Section 9, and the Douglas zoning bylaws, Section 3.4.3A, non-conforming structures, to see if a permit is needed to run a remodeled concession stand in a rural agricultural RA zone district. The property is located at 520 Northwest Main Street, Assessors Map 147, Parcel A. A copy of the application may be reviewed in the Community Development Office during regular business hours. Anyone wishing to be heard on this proposed application shall appear at the time and place designated. It was in the Telegram and Gazette on June 19th and June 26th. So, we have just 4 members tonight. Mr. Fitzpatrick, Mr. Bombara, Mr. Holland, and myself will be voting on the application. And Maria, did we get all of the certified mailers back?
Yes, we did.
Okay, great. All right, the applicant, would you like to join us?
Sure.
Before, just for the record, Mr. Chairman, this meeting is a special meeting. It was, I don't know who it was asked by, but we've rejected people before for doing so. It should be left that way. If we're holding a meeting on every single month, that's the way it should stay. We shouldn't be, given privileges to different other people that come in and ask for them. We've never done it before, and we've been asked.
Yeah, I actually, I agree with that. I wasn't at the last meeting, and that's what the board voted, so.
Yeah, I just want that on record, that's all. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, John. Okay. Floor's yours.
I'd just like to have a few letters to the board. First off,
This is the first time we've seen it,
Yes.
so we'll just take a minute. with
Sure.
you, okay?
Keith, can I have a copy for my records?
yeah, I don't have an extra one with me.
I can give you mine when I'm done reading it.
Oh, okay, thank you.
I'll run a couple.
Yeah, maybe we could get both extras.
Yeah.
Have a copy of this, 'cause this is-
He's gonna,
Anybody else want a copy?
Mr. Fortune, if you
Mr.
want.
excuse me, Mr. Chairman, if I could make a motion.
Sure.
In the spirit of Mr. Bombara bringing up unique items, I don't believe that I've ever seen counsel attempt to argue before this board anyway, any type of legal argument, a fact argument, without actually being present. And I would move that we strike this from the record and not enter it into the public hearings evidence as part of this proceeding.
Is that a motion?
That's a motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second?
Seconded by Mr. Fitzpatrick. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye, okay. All right, well, that will not become part of public record. Okay, floor is yours.
Basically, I'm here just doing what I'm told I was told I need a special permit to get the building permit for this building. I'm just following what has been told me to do. So I'm just trying to, I'm not sure, I'm not getting I wish I knew why, that I needed a special permit, is what no one's explaining to me why. I'd like to know.
Well, I saw in the denial letter from the building commissioner that it was pretty self-explanatory. I thought what the situation was. That any expansion and renovation or to a pre-existing non-conforming structure has to get a special permit.
The structure isn't not.
But I thought finding out the structure is not non-conforming.
I'm sorry?
The structure is conforming, I thought the use is
It's
not.
pre-existing non-conforming use.
Use, but not the structure, the building itself. The use is non-conforming, but the structure is conforming to all the zoning. So that's what I didn't,
And the use hasn't changed.
and the use is exactly the same, that's why it hasn't substantially changed, it's exactly the same. That's,
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to ask counsel, because he made one point that I'm curious about, because he meets the setbacks on all sides, except for the water, and that would be, he would have to go to Conservation Commission. So he has a 50-foot frontage, he has a 25 on both sides. I mean, if you looked at, I'll give you, for instance, I took a copy of his assessment field card, which is online, and you can see that the building was, of course, much larger than you built now, because it has a staircase on one side, and it's still out there. And I guess what I'm asking now, because you brought up a good point, because he meets all the setbacks, well, all sides but one, and that would be for the water.
Well, putting aside the conservation issues, because we can't deal with that
Right.
right now. But any structure or use that's non-conforming can't be altered without a special permit. So we could sort of go around about whether or not we should, view it as a structural alteration or an alteration of the use. But either way, if there's been an alteration to the existing use or structure, it still requires relief from the board. So there was a determination made by the building department. There was a notice given. This isn't an appeal of that notice. This is an application for relief. So this notice is sort of a baseline for what comes next. And the notice determined that it was non-conforming and that a special permit was required, and that the work that had been done constituted an alteration, which is enough to trigger the special permit requirement.
Okay. All right.
So that's enough to give the board jurisdiction to consider that alteration and whether or not it meets the standard under the bylaw.
But even though that he's already out there with the staircase that's there,
You can still be dimensionally conforming, but a non-conforming use.
okay.
So once you cross that threshold, you have an existing structure, the zoning changes, it makes it either a non-conforming use or a non-conforming structure, or both, then you live life as a non-conformity. And if you alter the non-conformity, it requires relief from the board.
Okay. All right.
And actually, I met briefly with the building commissioner as well, and that blueprint that you submitted states right on it, building addition to the concession stand, so that would trigger it. I mean,
I just didn't know that it was non-conforming. Last time, the permit for this building was a conforming structure. So I didn't change any setbacks, so I just thought it's still a conforming structure. The use in the RA, I thought was just a, that's all. So I'm just following
Okay.
along what I was told.
Ron?
Ron Ford, I'm Keith's dad. Can we ask Mark, through the chair, that, about how he feels about it? Because when we went down, or Keith went down for the original permit, when, I forget his name was here. He said-
Larry.
He said there was no problem, and just, I don't know, did you have your plans drawn up?
Larry, yeah.
Yeah, with Larry, and he said there was no problem with, so that's our mistake, that we basically went on that, and then that was like in
That was then.
October,
Yeah,
and then he didn't get started till later on, and then
'cause I didn't have
when
a
he went
building.
down for the permit, there was no, well, somebody said there was a building inspector, some say there wasn't a building inspector. So,
But Larry said there was no building permit needed?
no.
Okay, 'cause there was
He
never a
said,
building
"Come back-
permit taken
Come
out."
back when you're
Right, right.
ready.
I didn't have a
and then-
builder yet,
Yeah,
and I brought the plans and I had him look at it, and he said, yeah, everything
so
that you
my
need is
question,
fine, so.
my question is, I don't know at this point here how Larry feels about.
Mark?
Mark.
I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem.
I don't think Larry cares. No.
I
I said, I don't think Larry cares.
I never met the guy, really.
Yeah, anyways.
Yeah. So, how much of a role does the building inspector play in this request for the special permit?
Yeah, well, he determined that a special permit was needed, which is he's the zoning enforcement
Right,
officer.
right.
We're just the Board of Appeals.
Okay,
So he, based on the information, he
All right.
determined that
so that's where we're at right now.
that's where we're at, yeah. And that's pretty much our council just said.
Now, I don't know where the conversation is coming from the Conservation Commission.
You know,
Because they said that-
that's another
That's,
department, so we're.
I'm not gonna go,
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
going there to make
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's got nothing to do with us, we have
Yeah.
enough things on the plate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're good.
Sean?
I apologize, sir. Your name, sir?
Keith,
Keith.
Keith.
Keith, it's my understanding that you have made material changes to some buildings that were on the parks, or is it a park, would you consider it?
Yeah.
On the parks property, is that correct?
building changes
Yeah.
to other buildings before?
Structures, any
Yeah.
type of structure that have been made, and you'd like to use them, correct?
Mhm.
And so you come for us today, ask for a special permit to do that, correct?
No,
Oh, you have it, okay.
no, wait a minute. We did do other buildings with the
No,
other
no, no,
buildings.
he's talking about today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He's just talking about this building here, correct?
Yeah, what the remedy that you're here to resolve?
Right,
Right.
correct.
Okay. And you've made these structures have resulted in the building being slightly smaller? Or-
Yes.
Or the structures being slightly smaller?
Correct.
We'll use the term structure, if you don't mind, to mean, for instance, and I apologize, Mr.
No, go right ahead.
Just mean, for instance, decks added on, or any material changes that have been made to the building that are substantial, more than, say, hanging up a clock or putting up a birdhouse. Is that safe to say? And you're here because you made some changes, and you submitted what those specific changes were in the plan that was submitted during the last hearing, right? And do you have a copy of that with you here today?
No, I don't. I wasn't able to submit anything at the last hearing.
At the last hearing, there was I thought there was a big form where there was some notations about some buildings on it. It was yellowed out, but possibly it's my failing, my failing.
Oh, the big
That
set
one,
of,
exactly.
Oh,
Wasn't there a larger version of that, correct?
Yeah,
And
this is the building.
and can
that's the
you,
one you're talking
and
about.
can you describe just what's been changed on the property?
The, well, went from a 3-story building to a 1.5-story building.
And do you know the approximate dimensions of it?
32 by 30?
And would you agree that you would like us to say that, us being the zoning board of appeals, to say that you should be allowed to have that building on there?
Please,
And that it shouldn't be you shouldn't be penalized for that?
please.
So that you can run your business as efficacy and the best that you're able to, is that safe to say?
Please.
And so you are here for a special permit, from us today to address that hearing. Right? And the letter, I'll strike that's not on the record. But that's what you're looking for us to do, to have this vote, correct? And would you agree that, and since it came up, I was kind of the one who asked, I don't know if you remember, for the quickest possible hearing date that we could get. And then Ms. Holmes was the one who said that probably this date would be the quickest one we could get, because we wanted to get it quickly for you, because believe it or not, we're not out to get you. We were trying to just do it the way that we believed was the appropriate legal way to do it. So would you agree then that you are asking for the special permit? Okay. Under the circumstances that I've described? And the building, to the best of your knowledge and ability, is safe? These are safe, sound buildings?
Correct.
And I've been on the property, was that where the arcade units used to be?
Right.
And they're no longer there?
There's still storage and a few arcade games, but the same thing.
And what other type of changes were made to the structure?
It's new siding, new windows, new roof.
Shortened.
Yeah, it came down. That's three sides of the building and the original, well, actually, the original inside wall are all still there. Those weren't changed. Yeah.
And may I ask and I apologize, Mr. Building Inspector, do you have plans for the present structures that are on there?
Yeah, I think they're in my office.
And
For the
you-
present structure, no, for
No.
what they
What they had?
wanted to do.
What they wanted to do?
Yeah.
It was different than what's presently there?
They added 8 feet to one side, the whole distance. Where those stairs on his pictures and that little porch right there. So they increased that footprint and they enclosed that. They've already done the work.
What information would you need from them so that we could vote to give them a special permit for what exists on the property? And if you don't feel comfortable telling me that information, I understand completely.
I'm sorry, say that again?
What, in terms of allowing a special permit, because we don't seem to have any exact specific plans in existence at the moment being provided by the petitioners to say what it is that should be allowed in retrospect, what information would you need in order to feel satisfied, if that's a fair question to you?
No,
For
the
instance,
plans they
dimensions of the
submitted
building?
satisfy me for plans to look at a building and what they're doing.
But those plans, we would agree, what's on the property right now are different from the plans that you have in your office presently? No, they're the same.
No, same.
They're the
And
same,
that's- those plans would
they're
satisfy.
with the added 8 feet, that he took out those stairs, and he enclosed that whole thing. He took off the roof, the whole roof structure, put trusses on, redid the whole roof.
And that's all properly
Yeah,
described?
I don't need to know anything for you to vote.
But it's all
Yeah.
properly described
Yeah.
in the plans that were submitted.
Yes, yes.
I have no further questions.
There's nothing wrong with the plans.
Any other board members?
Just curious, when did you do this?
Started at February, I believe. Started to tear down the old structure.
Question for Mark.
Yeah, go ahead.
When did you start?
February 7th.
Was it before that?
I can't know.
No, I'm just
exactly.
curious.
I don't know. the
Statements
exact-
last time and this meeting that we had no building inspector at the time. I'm just curious as to when you started. You said you were waiting for a builder and you finally found a builder. Well, if he was a builder, he would have known that he needed a building
He
permit.
thought I was taking care of everything. 'Cause that's what I was told by the plan.
I understand.
Anybody else? Anybody else who would like to speak on this application? Mr. Swenson?
Roy Swenson, 565 Northwest Main Street. I don't think there's a problem with Forgett's running their concession stand. I think, from my point of view, this request is out of step. This should have come after a building, a special permit for allowing him to do his work. I think that's what's missing.
Right. The building inspector determined he cannot issue a building permit without him getting a special permit first.
Right.
That's the correct
But
order.
for a building permit, not for you.
Well,
If he
the
gets
zone-
if this board issues a use permit, why does he have to go get a building permit?
he expanded a pre-existing non-conforming structure.
We all know that.
Right.
So why
In
are we
order to do
allowing
that-
to use it until he brings that into, that step into spec?
I'm sorry, you lost me on that one,
And what's my-
Okay, until he gets his permit,
right?
which he should have had. He was almost there, it sounds like, and something fell through the cracks. But that's all that would be needed. The
So
use, the use really isn't, the use is allowed.
He's expanding a pre-existing non-conforming structure and use.
Structure.
Yes, and use.
Struc- But the use is the same. The structure is
It's
different.
larger. It's been changed, it's been altered. If you want to read the bylaw, you're certainly welcome to read it. You know, that's,
The use is the same, the structure is different. Yep.
The structure comes into play because of the use, correct?
Yes.
Okay. If it was just a shed or whatever, it wouldn't, you wouldn't even be here because you would meet all your setbacks and you could, as long as you got a building permit, you could build the thing. But because of your current use of it is what triggered all this. So it comes back to this infamous building permit. If you had done this, this would have been a lot easier for you.
Yep.
So,
A lot easier.
um,
We're here now. So,
anybody else who would like to speak on this application?
move to close the public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Bombara to close the public hearing,
Second.
seconded by Mr. Holland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing's now closed. Would the board like to move forward and make a decision this
Yes,
evening?
if I could have the folder I gave you. I just want the numbers on it, please. Thank you. I'll move that we approve the special permit for PELU Incorporated on today's date, which is the 3rd of July. Where is the number I'm looking for, Mr. Chairman?
Case number?
Case number.
2019-05.
Thank you. It's not on
Thank you,
there.
it's not on there.
That's not on
Thank
there.
you. All right. 2019-05.
Okay, so your motion to approve the special permit
Yes,
for that case number,
yes.
subject to,
Well, you already have the plans, am I correct? And you're happy with the plans that you submitted?
Yeah, I have one partial copy, so
Okay.
I'm gonna,
Is there something, Mr. Chairman, that you would like to add to this?
oh, I think we should, in any decision, we should include that
Okay.
plan, so we know what's
Okay,
being built,
all
and what's
right.
being approved, and
The only reason I was asking about the plan in the office of the building commissioner is because we don't have a plan properly describing everything here, which we can
Point
read to
taken.
the record.
That's why.
That was the only
I'm
reason I
asking
was
him.
going after that. I wasn't in any way trying to attack you. But because we
No,
didn't
I
have
didn't
that
take it that
description.
way.
Okay, we didn't have that description. I was gonna then reference the, I would say that any, oh, yeah, I think I'm far more hostile than I am. Jim.
I just,
I can
So,
But
get
so-
all what I need from them.
okay,
From
all
the
right, so
building.
I guess what I'm saying, and if the building inspector's happy with him, and he has all he needs without anything extra here.
well, I think we should refer to something.
Refer
It
to-
would be difficult that we can refer to that plan if that's here, in the
I can
building.
go look for it,
Okay,
Jackie.
thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hey, Counsel, did you have?
Just a friendly suggestion, Mr. Chairman, if I may.
Sure.
And that's to politely suggest that you may want to add to the motion a finding that under section 3.4, that the alterations are not more detrimental to the neighborhood. So that's the legal finding you need to make under the bylaw to justify the ultimate motion, which you just.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna add that to your,
Yes, it is not 3.4.3?
I suggested 3.4 just
Okay.
to keep it as general as possible.
All right, okay, I got it. Okay, diving too deep.
And if Mark comes back with that plan, we'll identify that plan as
Mhm.
well, so everybody knows what's being approved and.
Yes.
and-
So you were the one that changed the meter, right?
I didn't, I was on the board meeting, me and Pam, we conspired against you. That's why I was shocked to hear, Joe.
Blank that day.
I didn't expect you to be here, because it was a
Oh,
special
so
meeting that we all agreed to.
Yeah.
But then neither the Mr. Tessino nor Pam showed up.
Yeah.
I'm shocked at. Only the committed
Actually,
individuals are
for
here.
the record, Pam has an excused absence, Mr. Tessino does not.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
Oh, boy.
What happens if yours is short 2 weeks in a row?
I mean, that's,
Four?
4?
Yeah.
You're 4 than
Then you have the obligation of bodily removing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'll bring a hand.
Good, how you doing? I made a copy of this before we got a new printer, so they're broken in two, all right, so here's, so these are really like a full sheet like this.
They'll let you use that new printer?
okay.
He does. And then they submitted this after I had some, with a stamp. From the structural guy.
So Coach, which one do you want us to use?
They're all gonna be,
Both?
they're all
Okay.
gonna be submitted.
Okay, I see.
Mr. Forger, just take a second, we just review this, and we just want to make sure that
This is correct.
that's correct.
That's yes?
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. I just want to take a quick peek.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mr. Mbara to approve the special permit request for the building to be expanded per the plan
Per the
submitted,
plan submitted, yes.
along with the finding
Yep,
from town council.
yep. Zoning bylaws are 3.4.
You want the number of the plan that's on
Yes.
the bottom of
Um,
that? 818 dash, whatever,
let's see.
on the bottom, yeah.
Okay. Per the plan drawn by Stephen Dix, drawing number 818-43-10/7.
The small ones have the same number.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, because one,
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have that motion by Mr. Bombara.
And you have the finding in,
Yeah, Maria, did you get the finding the council recommended?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Anything else you want to add?
Nope.
Okay. We have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Holland. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, did you vote right? Okay, all right, so the special permit is granted. we'll get it drafted, get it to the town clerk, and there's a 20-day appeal period after the town clerk receives it. So we'll get that drawn up and signed and to the town clerk as soon as possibly can.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
good night.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next time you can save yourself a lot of trouble.
So, Keith, when you, after the 20-day period, when you submit, so you must have taken the original set of plans back from Jackie, and then you brought these for structurals. So I need this all together, this size, 2 copies, okay?
That size, the big size?
This size, 2 copies,
Okay,
okay?
okay.
And we also had minutes to review and so forth. Why don't we save that for our regularly scheduled meeting next week?
I'm sorry, what was that?
We have some minutes to review, but why don't we do it at our
Oh,
next
yeah.
scheduled meeting? Next-
And if I could just add one thing to the record.
Sure.
The building inspector was kind enough to say that he wasn't available, but apparently he did make himself available. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
But I did tell the chairman that I
you
cannot
couldn't?
make next week's meeting,
Oh,
because I sit on the ZBA in Uxbridge, and we have 8 meetings up there, and I can't miss them, because that was part of 3 continuing. All right, but I did, there was one case that you can, if you wanna call me the day before or whatever in my office, I'll answer any questions you got.
Yeah, we'll review, we got the applications tonight.
Yeah.
We'll
Sit down
review them,
tonight.
if anybody has any questions.
Make a motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Mr. Fitzpatrick to
Second.
adjourn, seconded by Mr. Bombara. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned at 7:36.